We are live here in Jackson, Mississippi. Today's live stream is sponsored by Wayfinder Foundation. As you probably are aware of by now, there is a current water crisis that is occurring. Here at the O.B Curtis Water Plant, there is an active ammonia leak right now. Officials are working to get that under control while simultaneously trying to address the quality of the water here for more than 150,000 residents, 83% of which are black. Now, this has been going on for 6 days, and while the city has made progress, they still have no real clear timeline of when the quality of the water will be restored. To bring you up to speed, if you have not been following, this started about 6 days ago when there was a flood, and there were some malfunctions here at this water plant, which we've been told by several residents have been ongoing for several years. In fact, EPA had issued a consent decree more than a year ago asking the city for a plan of how they were going to bring the water infrastructure here at this plant up to their standards. And so back in July, there was a issue for water boiling, a water boiling notice that was mandated by city officials. At that time, residents told us back in July they did not have quality water. The water that was coming out of their tap was not drinkable. And then because of flooding, the issues got worse. And for several days, more than 150,000 residents went to their home and tried to turn on their sinks and got no water. So now that that has been addressed, they've talked about a lot on the city website, the water pressure, and the water pressure being an indication of how many residents are able to get water inside their homes. And so now that that has been addressed, according to the city website, the Jackson City website, water pressure is now up to 90 psi, and where they would like it to be is at 87 psi. Earlier this week, it was at 0 psi and at sometimes 40 psi, and so they have addressed the water pressure, and people are getting water inside their homes. But now the problem that they're trying to rectify is the quality of the water. And I did have the opportunity to interview the mayor yesterday, who told me that they need at least 2 days of consecutive clean reports on the water before they can allow residents to actually drink it. But more importantly right now, what officials are trying to address is this ammonia leak. I'm not sure if you can see it, but if we zoom in a bit, you'll see some fumes that are going up in the air. Yesterday, they had a controlled burn that was happening on the ammonia leak. The Department of Health has spoken out about this ammonia leak and has said that there is no danger to the public with this ammonia going into the air, that they're controlling it. However, residents obviously are losing confidence in the ability of any rehab of this facility, because if the facility malfunctioned to the point earlier this week where they couldn't get water inside their homes. Now they are getting water, but the water is not drinkable. Now there is an ammonia leak. And this isn't a new problem. This is just new to us, folks who are not from the area, because it's made national headlines. And so the questions that we've been asking on the ground is exactly how are the state officials supporting local officials in bringing this water facility up to a standard that is normal. When you talk about access to water, this is a basic human right that hundreds of people, thousands of people are being deprived, and largely a very black population here in Jackson. Some of the things that we've learned as we've been researching is that there has been a large portion of the population that has migrated, and that portion of the population is largely white. So going back to the 90s, if you look at the demographics of Jackson, there was a more diverse population, and starting in the 90s all the way to date, there has been what folks have called white flight, where a lot of the white residents have now moved to Madison and other local suburbs, depleting a lot of the economics from the community. I was reading a local business owner who owns 3 restaurants who says now he's actually losing his employees, most of which are black, to the suburbs because of all of the water issues. And so if the infrastructure can't be restored, how can Jackson be revived? There's also several pieces of litigation that are happening right now involving the governor, involving city officials. And so we're doing what we can right now to dig deeper on some of those things to see if they're related at all to what's happening right now at this water facility. We will continue to follow updates here in Jackson. We have had the chance to go out to some of the water distribution sites. I know that 4,500 National Guardsmen were activated by the state, and so now they are locally stationed at the fairground, at a closed mall where they're distributing water. More than 1 million bottles of water have been distributed to residents here, and a lot of residents now are, glad that they have running water in their home, but they're concerned because they've been advised if you take a shower, do not open your mouth. And so it's very concerning to other American citizens in other states across the country that this is a problem, a basic human right like access to water. People here in Jackson are fighting for, and they say that they haven't been just fighting this week, that this is an issue that has been happening for years, that the condition, the quality of this facility here has been on the decline, and that the pipes even are hundreds of years old. And so Jackson is in extreme need of a new infrastructure here for their water system. We will continue to follow up with city and state officials to get the latest on this. For now, I'm signing off. This live is in sponsorship of Wayfinder Foundation in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm Georgia Ford.